Aloha everyone. Welcome to the PR training session number 2 of District 49 Toastmasters. If you are a guest joining us, we would like to tell you that first of all, Toastmasters International is an international educational nonprofit headquartered in USA, which aims to promote the skills of public speaking and leadership through various clubs. We have 40 to 50 such clubs in Hawaii, and those are governed under the district of District 49. So that's what we do, and that's who we are. Today, we have a training session on public relations, and facilitating that is our trainer, Julie Murphy. Now, without further ado, let me just pull up her introduction, introduce her, and let's get started with the training. Just give me a second. Our trainer, distinguished Toastmaster Julie Murphy, was named Founders District Toastmaster of the Year for the term 1920 and has held just about every role at both the club and district levels. She served as the 2022-23 Founders District Director and the 2020-21 Public Relations Manager. As Public Relations Manager, Julie established a consistent, engaging communication rhythm for the district, shining a spotlight on members and club. She is also a seasoned Vice President of Public Relations multiple times over. Julie is passionate about all things communication and brings her professional PR expertise to help clubs boost their visibility. By day, she is part of the marketing communications team at one of Orange County's largest automaker, using her skills to drive organizational success. For a training session today, she brings us maximizing free toast host. So, friends, with a huge round of applause, please welcome Julie as she enlightens us about one of the most important tools that we have to use in terms of public relations for our clubs, FreeToastHost, which we use to manage our club's website. So, with a huge round of applause, please welcome Julie.
Thank you, Tanishq, and welcome everyone. Great to see you. Today we're going to dive into FreeToastHost. It's our club's resume, it's our club's business card, it's our club's presence. It really can tell you a lot about a club, and it can also tell you not a lot about a club. We're going to talk about some strategies on how you can maximize the website and how you can also keep it fresh. One of the things I remember when I was joining Toastmasters, I looked at a lot of clubs. I was trying to find one that I felt would be a good fit. Some of them, all the websites look the same. And I thought, I'm not really sure because I'm not familiar with Toastmasters. So we have to keep in mind that people that are coming to look at us, they may not be a Toastmaster. And if you just have a templated site, you might not be engaging to that person. Of course, we know not everybody comes in through the club website, but I was looking at websites to learn more about the club, to learn more about their personality. That's why I'm really passionate about keeping our website on brand, but also demonstrating our club's unique value proposition. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I'm going to talk about our free toast host. Okay. Before we can really dive into our website, though, there's a few tips that we want to keep in mind. Keep the information current. What makes your club special? Use Zoom registration links instead of the actual meeting ID. Well, if you want some of those Zoom bombers to come visit you, they probably need tips on public speaking. They come in, they yell at us, they create disruptions., they're not there to learn and grow. They're just there to create havoc. I always recommend that you add the registration link if your club is using Zoom. The other benefit is you can capture guest information very easily to follow up with guests. A lot of times I find I private message them in chat, but then the meeting's busy going on. They don't necessarily see it right away. But it's a great way to be able to download that list after and thank them for coming and follow up with key details on how they can join your club's family. I love adding the theme of the meeting because it keeps it fresh, and photos of my meetings. Caveat with photos, make sure that your members are okay with it. When I was in a club, when we met only in person, I had a person say, I'm part of the witness protection program. I don't want my face out there. I said, you're not really part of the witness protection program, but I understand you don't want it. One of the things I recommend, I know it's very popular on Zoom to take photos. I recommend that you do the family photo. Everybody's staged. Everybody knows there's photos being taken. There's nothing worse than when people take a photo during the meeting and people maybe don't look the most engaged. They're looking off to the side because their cat walked in and started meowing at them. Whatever it may be. That's why, even though they are staged, I really love the family photo because everybody's smiling, everybody's engaged, and everybody knows that the photo's being taken. That's why I recommend family photos. It's up to your club's dynamic what you choose, but I do find that those usually display the best. If you do not have a website, does anybody not have a website currently? Okay. Well, I am happy that everybody has a website. When you charter a new club, when you become a member of a brand new club, because I know we have a lot of talent in here and we all are looking for great opportunities, then this is how you would request a website for your brand new club. You just fill this out, all the details about your club. Admin change. This is where it can get tricky because in Toastmasters, we are all volunteers and we change club officers from time to time. I've been in clubs that we don't really use the club website for various reasons. And then all of a sudden, oh, we want to use the club website, but nobody remembers what the login was. That could be a challenge. But the benefit of using FreeToastHost is we can go ahead and we can request an admin change and they can verify it for us. It's a lot harder with other external platforms because it's not built into the Toastmasters platform. The FreeToastHost understands that we're Toastmasters. We change club officers. We don't pass information along sometimes as we should. So that is one benefit to the FreeToastHost. I know it can look very templated. I know sometimes it doesn't look the most modern. However, it does have the great feature that you don't have to worry if somebody maybe walks off with that admin password and nobody knows what it is. I do recommend that all club officers have the ability to log in to the admin portal. It's more likely that you're not going to have all 7 club officers vanish into the night and nobody's going to have that information. There's likely going to be somebody that has it that's very detailed and really great at record keeping. Of course, it should be your club secretary that's great at the record keeping, but we also know that everybody has their strengths and weaknesses. Okay. So it will send 3 confirmation emails, one to the registered website administrator, whoever that may be, one to the current club president for your club. So that's a great way that if you have forgotten who the admin is, if they're maybe no longer a member of the club and they were the one listed as the admin, then your club president is able to. And then the primary club contact that you have listed at Toastmasters International. A great reason to not have your club president and the club contact necessarily be the same person, because if somebody's getting their emails caught in the spam filter, or maybe if somebody's not really great at checking email, then you always do have that backup. So that's one thing to keep in mind in strategizing for who your club contact is for the Find a Club. Okay, getting us started. So this is my home club, Pastime Pursuits. As you can see, we've taken the time to customize our site. We don't just have these standard Toastmasters photos on there. We thought, if we're passionate people, okay, Toastmasters is a passionate brand, but if we look the same as everybody else that we're competing against, how are we going to stand out? The reality is we're not going to stand out from a look and feel. Yes, we have the same template, but we've gone through and we've added some customization to it. Another thing that we have done is added our unique value proposition. What makes us unique? For example, we like to talk about our pastimes. One of our pastimes also happens to be evaluations. This is something that we're struggling with right now, and what our unique value proposition is. We're a little all over the place. So do keep in mind that, think about every club has speeches, every club has evaluations, and every club has table topics. But what makes your club different in that regard? Do you have world champions every single year? Are you sending someone to the district finals? Are you sending somebody to the semifinals? Do you have a club of just past district leaders? Whatever it may be, really think hard about what sets your club apart. And you might have to visit a few other clubs to realize, oh, you know what, my club does this different. Ask your members as well. Why do you enjoy our club? What brings you to our club? What brought you to our club? What maintained you in our club? Because a lot of times, why somebody joined could be very different than why they continue to be a member. I joined because my director at the time said, Julie, you should join Toastmasters. He's left the company many years ago, but I'm still passionate about Toastmasters because I see that self-growth. So why somebody joined and why they continue may be completely different, but it is important to ask people, what brought you to this club? What brought you in? And it's dues renewal season, so you can also ask them, what entices you to continue along your journey with us? Because we know that each one of you are providing that positive and supportive journey with your club, but it's important to understand why your members enjoy the experience. And you might get a wide variety, but it's important to try to distill it down to, that main item that you really feel sets you apart. So have that eye-catching photo. You find something that you can even create it in Canva. That would probably be even more powerful than this. Do something that's very eye-catching. I've also seen clubs do their family photo. Why? Because we want to see ourselves in others. And when you see people like you, it's human nature. It meets that human need for connection. And so when you see people like you, then you instantly start building that connection. You're like, oh, I see so many friendly, smiling faces. I want to hang out with those people as well. They look like a great group of people. So that's something that you can do as well. Custom pages. This is one of my favorite parts of FreeToastHost, and I think one of the most overlooked items is adding those custom pages in, because it helps further drive the customization. For example, we are an advanced club. We attract Toastmasters that are part of typically a lot of district leaders. And therefore, our club, everybody knows how important the Distinguished Club program is. They understand that if we are getting President's Distinguished, we're providing a high quality experience for our members. They have the opportunity to give speeches on a regular basis, do evaluations. We're drawing in new members to our club. Our club officers are going to training. That's a sign of a high value club. Therefore, we have a notable achievements. We also have certificates that we've received from the district as well. So it's not just, hey, we're our president's distinguished club. Look at these other recognition that we've received from the district. I think that's one thing that I highly recommend is, even somebody new coming into Toastmasters, they're going to say, I don't necessarily understand all this yet, but they look to be an award-winning club. Why would I not want to hang out with award-winning people? Nobody wants to go to a club that seems boring. They want to have excitement in their life. So that's one of the ways that you can help stand out from the other clubs. Especially if your club is meeting online, it's so much more important to set yourself apart from other clubs because you're competing against everyone that meets online. Now, of course, somebody's not going to be awake, in the middle of the night at their time, but they might wake up early. They might do it at lunch. So you're competing with so many clubs. If you are in person, you are competing with less clubs. But what's to say that somebody is going to come in person versus online? I do understand some people are looking for only that in-person experience to build the connection, to be able to stand in front of a group of people, but you still have to entice them to come to your club. You have to entice them to take time out of their day to come spend time with you. So it's really important. The more that you can demonstrate your unique value proposition and how exciting your club is through the webpage, then you're going to attract that many more people. And a lot of the things that are on your website, you can also use for your social media. And conversely, what you have on your social media can also be added to your website. So those are some of the ways that you can help set that unique value proposition and really stand apart from other clubs. So always have your club name, front and center. We also have it, in the welcome as well, because you do want to identify who your club is, who you are, why you're an exciting group of people. Okay. I also recommend adding your club meetings into the future. That way people can see what the cadence is and I can join that meeting. I know that the club meets on the first and second Monday at 6:00 Hawaii time. Oh, that works for me. I think I can do it. Or some clubs will meet on Monday, the first Monday of the month, and then they meet maybe on Wednesday, the third of the month. This is one of those things that you just want to make sure that people know when you meet. And I love calendars. They're very visual. I'm a very visual person. So yes, I can look at it and I can see, oh, okay, this club meets on this schedule. But when I can see it on a calendar and I can compare it to my personal calendar, I know I can make a commitment to this club. I always want to make sure that it's a time that's going to work for me before I even visit a club, because I want to make sure that I'm going to be able to contribute value to the club. It's not let me squeeze it into my schedule this one time. I want to be able to see that it's going to work. Of course, sometimes we go to visit a club because we've been invited to be a guest speaker. We've been invited to see a special presentation. But in general, if people are looking for a home and looking for that opportunity to grow, they want to see that it works for them. So that's one of the ways that you can also help make sure that you are able to attract people that are going to be able to join your club as well. Of course, we want all guests, but it's even better when we have guests that are going to be able to join our family, because we're able to learn from them on an ongoing basis, and we're able to help mentor them on an ongoing basis as well. So this is just a quick look of how you add your club meetings. Another item I love is the social media links. So you can add them here. It's a great way to be able to have people see, oh, this club is vibrant. They are posting on a regular basis. They have fun at their meetings. So I do recommend that you add your social media links as just another way. Do check to make sure that your social media links are correct, though, because I know sometimes that we've lost access to Facebook pages. So we start a new one, or we've created a group, but then we decided that we're going to do a page. Whatever it may be, just make sure you check it on a regular basis to make sure you're actually posting to that platform still. Because if you're not posting to it, we want to take that link off. We don't want to seem that we're closed for business. We want to seem that we're an active group of people, actively meeting, and that we're a fun group of people. So you can also add floater messages that just give a little extra welcome to people. Officer changeover checklist. As I mentioned, we are all volunteers. And ideally, you're swapping roles from time to time to give somebody new the opportunity to learn that role. Yes, you might be an outstanding vice president of education, but it's great to keep it fresh and have that opportunity to mentor someone in their role. So I do recommend, as much as possible, that we rotate the officer roles. It also helps just reduce burnout as well among club officers. So take a look at the officer changeover checklist. Some advanced features that you can take a look at. Improving your Google ranking. One of the things is, I often hear that people are looking for clubs specific to a city, especially if now that a lot of clubs are moving hybrid, I have found. And so it can help you if that is not something in your club name already. For example, as you saw my club, we don't have that in our club name. We don't have the city. We currently meet still fully online. We were chartered as a fully online club. We still meet online. But if people are looking for certain things, then that's one of the things that we could look at is adding more information about our geography of where a majority of our members live and where we are hoping to attract people from. Because then we can attract more people. But especially if you are meeting in person, I highly, highly recommend that you take a look at the Google rating. That way, when people are searching Aloha Toastmasters, then they're able to find you, or Honolulu Toastmasters, whatever it is, you do want to make sure that you're able to really search engine optimize it. And, one of the best ways to make your site search engine friendly is to make changes on a regular basis. And it's not just going in and adding one little word here and one little word there and hitting save. Google's going to say, okay, that's great, but what changes have you made? So swapping out the photos, adding new calendar items, adding new awards, because you all are amazing clubs, I know. And so being able to add that content on a regular basis, I think helps. One of the things that you can also do is add meeting recaps, because that keeps it current. It keeps it fresh. It also helps when members have not been able to join. They have that FOMO. So if your secretary is able to capture a few highlights from the meeting, or maybe the vice president of membership or the vice president of public relation, if they can capture a few of those highlights, you can add those to the club website. Of course, with the speaker's permission, because we know that sometimes a speaker has a topic that they don't want to share with others, or maybe it's proprietary information that they're discussing because it's content that they've developed. So do keep in mind, but you can also do highlights from table topics or whatever it may be, and you can anonymize it as well. So it doesn't have to necessarily be attached to a person's name if they feel that they don't want their likeness out there. with anything you do, if you're taking photos during the meeting, if you're taking video during the meeting, if you're adding recaps that are associated to a person's name or something that would be able to identify them, do make sure that you have permission. Because yes, it's great to post all this, but if your members don't feel comfortable with it, it's actually going to provide more harm to your club than it will help you grow your club. And every club is unique and every member is unique. Some clubs, I went to a club and they are only in-person club, and I felt that I was at an award show. Everybody's clapping extra, when it's the best speaker, we're all, doing the, drums on the table, and then it's just social media content gathering the entire time. And over the next week, they just constantly had new reels and stories and posts, but that's unique to their club. I will say I don't find that many clubs that dedicate that amount of time to their social media, but that is for them. They feel comfortable with it. They feel comfortable sharing their stories. And I've noticed that sometimes when it's a deeply personal story, they'll just do snippets that don't share the whole story and don't share it all, or sometimes they'll mute it, but they'll add some additional content in. So there's ways that you can do it. Just make sure that your members are aware that you're capturing the content. I recommend that you have a photo release form, a video release form. That way your members know. And then also just, set the precedence of, hey, is it okay if I post your table topics? Is it okay if I post snippets of your speech? Because while, yes, they've consented to their photo and video, not everything that they talk about, they may want to be public. Because I always find that my club is a safe space. I can talk about anything, but I also don't necessarily want it out on the internet for everybody to see. I do know that, of course, I take the risk because we are in a public environment, but I do trust my members to not be posting my personal stories without my consent. So those are some of the things to keep in mind. I talk a lot about, promoting your club, your unique value proposition, but, there's so many ways that you can create custom content. If your members don't feel comfortable having their photo out there, maybe it's a photo that is just a headshot photo and they're okay with that versus a photo during a meeting. Or if they're not okay with that, that's perfectly okay too. You can use the stock Toastmasters International photos, and in Canva, you can create dynamic posters that you can swap out for your various meetings, and it will still be unique because you can put the theme, and then you can also use that to post any recaps as well. So you can get creative about posting the content without using your members' likeness, because I do understand that not everybody wants their photo out there. So just be really cognizant of what people are interested in sharing, and get creative, because I think that's one of the best ways is if you're able to leverage your website. When people come, they say, this is a really dynamic club. This is a group of people that I want to identify with. I remember when I was joining Toastmasters, I looked at some websites and I thought, I don't even know if this club is meeting. Yes, I see them on the Find a Club in Toastmasters International, but then when I go to their website, it has information from years ago still listed. It has a bunch of broken links on it. I knew nothing about Toastmasters. Those clubs, I just passed over because I thought, I don't know, they must not be in business. I didn't realize that a club can be suspended over time. They just happened to stop really updating their website and using their social media. But somebody coming in brand new to Toastmasters doesn't understand the dynamics of Toastmasters. So they're going to think that your club is just closed for business and they're going to pass over you. Or even if they think, I don't know, maybe this club is alive because they know a bit about Toastmasters, they're going to think, I don't know. I mean, they can't even keep their website up to date. How are they going to provide me good, high quality meetings if their information is all the way from, I don't know, 1999, whatever it may be? Do you really make sure that if you move locations, if you update your Zoom link, that you update it on your website as well? I constantly see in the Toastmasters International group that people try to join a meeting, but the link on the website doesn't work, or they never get the information because you need to email somebody for the Zoom link. So just really make sure that you are providing either that Zoom registration or whoever is tasked with responding to guests is just really on top of it, because we don't want to preclude guests from joining before we even have the opportunity to meet them. So I highly, highly recommend that you take a look at your website, go through it, ask your members to look through it too. Go through every page if you can. Our websites usually aren't that big, and look for, what's broken links, what is out of date. I already looked at my website, earlier tonight, and I thought to myself, okay, I need to go in and I need to make some updates to my club's website, because I've been talking about keeping things fresh, and I need to make a few changes to it to keep it fresh. So I have a few ideas already that I want to do for our club, because it is really important to make sure that we look alive, that we look lively, and that we're a great bunch of people. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and close my PowerPoint. Does anyone have questions?
Okay, so before we move ahead, let's give Julie a huge round of applause for her presentation. Yeah, I think it's very important to understand all of these aspects really well, because like Julie said, a lot of times the first impressions that our clubs make would be even way before the guests actually end up joining in our or even attend as a guest in our meetings, and their first impressions would be maybe framed by whatever they are looking at. It could be the social media of the club, it could be the website, wherever they saw the flyer first, or whomever they heard it from. So we need to factor this in, that even before that person is in the room, be it virtual or in person, you have already created your first impression. So I think so. And again, FreeToastHost is a very technical tool. So I think, yeah, it's very important to focus on these skills, and I hope we were able to deliver that value. Now, moving on, we'll move on to the second part of our session, and that would be Q&A. So we'll go around the room, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask them, or if not, if you would like to share any feedback, feel free. Before we do that, just give me a minute. I'll just, yeah.
And also, if you want to share your club